videos all the time when I was living in Seattle because I really hated it there and I was looking for any reason to leave, basically. And so then I decided to move back to Alaska, and that's where I am right now. As you may be able to tell, it's not even 5 o'clock and it's like twilight. Yeah. I made the videos originally because I really didn't have anybody to talk to in Seattle, and I had a lot of things to vent about, mostly work, mostly my living situation, and hilariously, none of that stuff has changed. I moved 3,000 miles and moved to a completely other state, something that is separated by another country and ocean, and it's pretty much exactly the same. I watched one of my Seattle videos last night and it made me so upset. Like, I was already upset. I hadn't gotten out of bed pretty much the entire day, and I had gotten in fights with pretty much everyone who tried to talk to me yesterday because I was so just overwhelmed by my situation, which is exactly what happened in Seattle. And then I watched that video and I was like, oh my god, that was a year ago and I'm in the exact same place, in a completely different place. It's something else. I feel quite a bit better today, but I think that's more because I have like consciously realized that things really suck. I should do something to change it. The things that I've been trying, I mean, there's not a lot that I can do to change it without moving again, which obviously has worked so well for me, but I'm trying to find a new job. Right now I'm working as a barista at the Fred Meyer in Palmer, which I really enjoy being a barista. I hate working at Fred Meyer. The people that work there are petty and dramatic and so self-absorbed, and the amount of corporate bullshit that you have to deal with is just astronomically high. Like, I went through a lot of corporate bullshit when I was working at FedEx, but whoa, this is like a whole new level. Especially, okay, so like working at FedEx office, I obviously had to deal mostly with FedEx office bullshit, but of course there was some actual FedEx shipping stuff, but they actually were kind of reasonable, and I actually enjoyed that part of work quite a bit more, I guess. But as a Starbucks barista at a Fred Meyer, I get to deal with Fred Meyer because, you know, they pay me, and Starbucks because that's the company I'm actually representing when I'm at work. It's glorious. I'm planning on applying for other barista jobs because everything else I've applied for, I've applied at a Brown Jug liquor store because I have my TAPS certification. I went to bartending school at the beginning of the summer before I got this job at Fred Meyer. So I thought that since I've done a ton of retail, I thought that would probably be like a pretty solid situation, especially since they had a psychological evaluation on their application as well as a cognitive and mathematics evaluation, which I was like, how many of these people that work at these stores possibly pass this? Because you know, I shop at Brown Jug, I know who they employ, I'm pretty sure most of them haven't passed that portion, but they never called me back, so and then I've been applying for receptionist and data entry positions because that's actually something that I've been trying to do for quite a while. I don't actually have any office experience, but working at FedEx office, I was basically a receptionist for 3,000 people at any given time. So anything that they would need me to do, I've done for 3 or more years. And apparently, like, no matter how many times I write cover letters and how aggressive I get about my qualifications, nobody ever calls me back. Which is pretty frustrating because I've applied for a lot of receptionist jobs, and I would have thought that maybe one of them would say something to me about, sure, yeah, let's bring you in for an interview, at least, just an interview, but no. So now I'm starting to scale back my standards, and I'm planning on applying for other barista jobs that do not involve two corporations. They're talking about building a Starbucks drive-thru in Wasilla, which I will more than likely apply for once that gets built. But with my luck, that's not going to be for like another 2 years, and I'm really hoping I'm not going to be here that much longer. Oh my god. I'm already at a year. That's way longer than I was expecting to be here for, but surprise, I'm actually more broke than when I got here. I don't know where else to apply. Patrick keeps hassling me and saying that I should apply at Fantasies on 5th and be a stripper. That's hilarious. I can't say that I haven't thought about it, but again, if I'm having a hard enough time getting the guts up to be a bartender in the Valley. I don't want to come home smelling like cigarette smoke, and most of the people that go to the bars are creepers, so why would I consider being a stripper? That seems counterintuitive. I've also been thinking about school again. What a surprise. Thinking about maybe I would do much better if I went ahead and went full-time and maybe had a part-time job, but just tried to live off of student loans, which I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know, the last time I did that, I was working full-time, and I did get some money for room and board because I was an independent at that point, so I got quite a bit more financial aid, but I still don't think I got enough to cover all my living expenses, and how could I do that full-time? I know a lot of people rely on scholarships. I should probably look into that because that would be great to have money that I wouldn't have to pay back. But again, like, I'm still an Idaho resident. I really don't want to be in Alaska. My brother's going to UAA. My boyfriend's planning on going to UAA, but I went with Patrick to go buy his college books last week, and I was so overwhelmed with anxiety. I felt a little more at home because, you know, it was mostly college kids at the bookstore. But navigating Anchorage in the wintertime and having to deal with walking to classes between buildings in negative 20-degree weather does not appeal to me at all. I barely enjoyed doing that in winter in Moscow, and the coldest it ever got was like 20 degrees, maybe down to 10. I really do miss Moscow. I miss living in a small town where I don't have to drive everywhere. It doesn't take 20 minutes to get across town, or to anywhere for that matter. I miss being able to walk to work. I miss being able to wear like a hoodie and a vest in the wintertime. Like, I have to wear 3 or 4 layers every day because I'm so cold here all the time. Yeah, I've been thinking about moving back to Seattle even because I hate it here. Oh my god, and like, it's awful because I was watching those videos and I was talking about how much I hated Seattle. I'm like, okay, it's a bad situation, obviously. Pretty much the worst situation. Like, I hated where I worked, I hated where I lived. I didn't have any sort of social life, which would have made a dramatic difference. But, like, if I went back, I'd be not living in downtown Seattle. I would be working not in Bellevue. I feel like it would be a little bit of a different situation. I am probably considering more living in Portland. That seems like something I would actually enjoy more. But again, I don't have any money, so can't really move at the moment. I've got a little more time to figure things out, which is reassuring. I've actually been talking for a really long time, like non-stop, and I should probably get off the phone while I'm driving. But anyway, yeah, more updates.